The largest crowd in Arkansas high school football history started to panic when loud banging sounds could be heard outside War Memorial Stadium. The fear of gunfire turns out to be unfounded, but the emotion in the stadium was real. We'll take you to War Memorial for the latest.
Don't tell me what we can't do. Don't tell me we can't make our country stronger and the world safer. We can. We must.
One of the most revered members of Congress of this generation, a man who fought in Vietnam for his beliefs and at times against his own party. John McCain's fight is over. We'll honor the life of the longtime Arizona senator. At the biggest high school football game in Arkansas, a fight and loud bangs send a scare across War Memorial Stadium. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Littman. Fans at the annual Salt Bowl game scrambled for the exits early in the third quarter. Reports of a gun and popping noises followed a fight in the stands, which was filled with a record number of fans. The game between Benton and Bryant has been canceled. Our Dorian Kraft and Michael Aaron saw it all unfold and join us live with the latest on the situation right now.
If you have lost car keys and you can hear my voice around the stadium.
Well, David, just a very scary situation here at War Memorial Stadium about an hour ago as those reports of gunshots came in. Also, a stampede of sorts in the end zone here. Dorian, you were here for all of that just before 9 o'clock in the third quarter, fourth quarter?
Third quarter, so it was about 9:44 left in the third quarter. I was actually down on the far sideline on the Benton side of the field. Bryant had just scored a touchdown, and I looked up in the stands, and there was a wave of people running, and I didn't see anything, and I thought it was a joke almost. I thought it was, you have rival students, and it almost looked, because it was students running, they started from the student section and ran across, so it almost looked like students were playing a prank, and then I look out to the field, and the Bryant team is huddled underneath the wall. They are panicking, they're clearing the field, and it looks like right now we are almost about ready to go to a press conference.
From Park Rangers, we're going to hear from State Police Officer Jason Perry he's a park ranger, going to address the media right now. So we're going to turn our attention to him as we speak.
Okay, folks, good evening. My name is Jason Perry. I'm a park ranger with Arkansas State Parks. Tonight, a little after 9 o'clock, we had a scare here in the stadium during the Salt Bowl game. And our park rangers went ahead and followed protocol and began evacuating the stadium. Okay, once we had the stadium secured and knew that it was safe, then we began the process of reuniting families with lost ones, because there's a lot of folks that kind of scattered during the scare. We began that process, which is ongoing and just about to be wrapped up. I believe there was just a few outstanding at last notice. At some point, both schools decided to go ahead and cancel the game. For the safety of the fans and the people involved, they decided to go ahead and cancel the game. So the game was canceled, and we went ahead and began evacuating the rest of the stadium. Okay, at that point, there were a few injuries. Most of them were heat-related, unrelated to the scare. And so medical staff was right on the spot and was able to attend to all of the injuries and evacuate them as necessary and treat them as necessary. We want to thank Little Rock Police Department and the Benton PD, Pulaski County Sheriff's Department, who all acted admirably during this scare. Everybody was professional and did what was needed to be done. The medical staff that was on board also was there on the spot, ready to act and treated patients accordingly. The stadium security did their job as well. Everybody kind of acted together as a team to evacuate the stadium and secure the stadium, make sure it was safe, tend to the families, tend to the injured. Okay, and we've pretty much wrapped that up. If you have any further questions, if you need more information, you can contact the Arkansas State Parks Director's Office. That number is 501-682-7743.
And as you guys have
Thank you very much. And that's Park Ranger Jason Perry. He tells us tonight that families are still working to be reunited after this scare here at War Memorial Stadium. And again, thanking the coordinated response from law enforcement from both Pulaski and Saline County. Now, we do know again that the injuries were from heat related. We also did see some people with splints on their ankles on the field after that stampede of sorts. No word on how serious the injuries are tonight, but of course something that we're going to stay on top of for you as this scary situation unfolded here at War Memorial Stadium. Little Rock Police confirming no shots fired, so certainly good news there, Dorian.
It is certainly good news, but people here certainly believed that gunshots were the case. People fled. They didn't know exactly what was going on. Multiple people came up to me and asked me what was going on. I repeated what I had heard was that a police officer told me that they had a report of a gun and to get to a safe place to let your friends and family know that you were okay. They cleared the stadium, and once they made sure it was okay and safe for fans to re-enter, they did start and come back to have fans. They were going to replay this game until they ultimately decided that it was unsafe.
And we are going to hear from Shane Broadway from the Salt Bowl right now.
On behalf of the Salt Bowl Committee, I want to thank the War Memorial Stadium staff, the Arkansas Department of Parks and Tourism, Little Rock PD, Pulaski County Sheriff's Office, Bryan and Benton PD, all who have been here. We're here during the incident tonight. We will continue to work with everyone throughout the investigation because our goal is to find out what happened. Because we want to know for our parents, for our students, and for our players exactly what happened here tonight. And the main thing is we don't want the incident that occurred tonight to overshadow the good that happened here tonight. There were 38,215 fans enjoying a heck of a football game, a great tailgate party. We raised a record amount of peanut butter to help the people in our communities. And I know that what happened tonight may overshadow some of that, but I wanted to say something on behalf of our committee and both of our school districts that a lot of good did happen here tonight. And we're going to get to the bottom of what did occur that caused this incident because at the end of the day, whoever caused it needs to be brought to justice because kids lost tonight. Kids who worked their butts off all summer long to play in a football game that means a lot to both of these communities. Whoever started this incident, for whatever reason, impacted a lot of kids and a great night that they were having tonight. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for your cooperation and help. And we'll, as soon as we know more information, obviously, we want to share that with you. Thanks.
Will you be issuing an official statement once you...
All right, Shane Broadway with the Salt Bowl Committee there. David, we're going to send it back to you. We're going to keep gathering information, bring you the latest tomorrow and on thv11.com. Back to you.
Michael, Dorian, our thanks. To our other major story tonight, Senator John McCain died today after a long fight with cancer. He was 81 years old. A military man his entire life, he went from prisoner of war to the heights of politics. He became known as the Maverick in one presidential campaign and then the Republican champion in another. Chris Martinez examines the life of a man who, regardless of one's political views, was seen as a true American hero.
His straight-talking style won Senator John McCain respect, even if people didn't agree with his politics. His war experience helped him win the 2008 Republican presidential nomination and President Bush's blessing.
John showed incredible courage, and strength of character, and perseverance in order to get to this moment. And that's exactly what we need in a president.
That strength of character was shaped by military service and adversity. McCain's father and grandfather were both admirals, and young John followed them into the service. But as a Navy fighter pilot in 1967, McCain crashed and was captured by the North Vietnamese. During 5 years of captivity, the Viet Cong tortured McCain's body, but they never broke his spirit.
I'm sure that I will get well.
McCain later brought that same fighting spirit to politics. His independence often angered members of his own party.
Boy, that's outrageous.
In Congress, McCain worked to strengthen the military, rein in government spending, and reform campaign finance.
Don't tell me what we can't do. Don't tell me we can't make our country stronger and the world safer. We can. We must.
After losing the 2008 presidential election to Barack Obama, McCain faced a difficult primary challenge for his Senate seat in 2010, but he persevered and won.
I intend to go back to Washington, and I intend to get to work.
McCain was married twice and had 7 children. His second wife, Cindy, a philanthropist, was often by her husband's side during his campaign appearances and his battles with cancer. He was first diagnosed with melanoma in 1993. Then in July 2017, doctors found a brain tumor. He made a triumphant return to the Senate and cast a deciding vote on health care. McCain's dedication to family and country and his courage of conviction won him admiration worldwide. To his many fans, John McCain was and always will be a real American hero. Chris Martinez, CBS News.
Oh, summer did return in a big way this weekend with meteorologist Nathan Scott here in the Weather Center. And Nathan, you've been tracking how long this is going to stick around, and stick would be the key word there.
Yeah, Thursday we had a little taste of fall, but it was just a teaser because summer is back in full force and it will be sticking around for the next week at least, maybe even into early September. But let's talk about what's happening out there right now on the satellite radar view. It is all quiet. There's been a few clouds in northern sections of the state where they did see even a spotty shower. But here are the highs for today. 93 in Little Rock, 94 in Hot Springs, 97 in El Dorado. And we're going to do it again for your Sunday. You heard at the press conference from War Memorial Stadium that there were heat-related illnesses. So make sure you stay hydrated and try to limit your time out in the sun, especially during the peak heating of the day. Temperatures topping out into the low to mid-90s. I'll let you know if there's any rain in my forecast to possibly cool us down coming up.
Local animal shelters often struggle to adopt out their dogs and cats and avoid reaching capacity. Today, the Humane Society of Pulaski County opened its doors to people who could be a short-term solution for pets in need.
It is a big commitment.
But fostering animals isn't too big a commitment for Troy Brazil.
No, my family started fostering 9 years ago now, and now we're 117 animals into it. So it's very fulfilling, and I would definitely recommend it for anybody that's wanting to give back and loves animals.
Aside from its full-time staff, the Humane Society has a network of a couple dozen volunteer families that regularly foster animals for a few weeks, either those that are too old or sick to adopt or too young. Brazil admits that some of them take a lot of effort.
It works well for people who are retired, who are home-based, or if they've, we've got a lot of homeschool families that do fostering with their kids.
Brazil led a seminar Saturday morning for people who are considering fostering. The shelter placed more than 200 animals with fosters last year and wants more families to help share the load.
Working with these little bitty ones, it is so rewarding, especially when you see them, their little gains they make every day.
Monique Harvey is on her second round right now. She says bottle feeding a kitten until it's old enough to be adopted is an amazing responsibility.
It is just so rewarding, making such a difference in a tiny little life.
And if you'd like to find out about how to foster animals, you can call the Humane Society. We will have the number for you on the digital version of this story at thv11.com. Nora Shield and Herb Swanson are both in their 80s and both took part in the Run with the Flock in Little Rock to benefit leukemia and lymphoma patients. They crossed the finish line, and then, after getting their medals, Herb had an even bigger prize to give to her. And yes, Beverly said yes. They've known each other for about 15 years, according to her family, and started getting closer by exercising together and competing in races like this one. Well, we did get a break this past week from the hot, sticky weather, but Southern came back with a vengeance today. Nathan will show us how much so in his detailed forecast next.
Now, weather from the craneteam.com Weather Garden.
We have clear skies over the Weather Garden right now, and if you look to the east, you can see a moon that appears to be pretty full.
Yeah, I think it is pretty full, and it's actually called the Sturgeon Moon.
Sturgeon Moon?
For this time of the year, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I guess that's when the Native Americans did the fishing. Because most of the moons are related somehow to what the Native Americans were seeing or growing or some sort of that. So
sturgeon's a good catch, so I'm happy to have this moon around.
But it is muggy out here. It's the, what you were saying earlier.
The air's so thick you could cut it with a bowling ball tonight.
Yeah, I've heard it, you know, you can cut with a knife, but bowling ball, it's a pretty sharp bowling ball. But anyway, yeah, it is tropical. It is soupy out here. It is sultry. And today's high above average. Yeah. So 93 was the high for today. We haven't seen temperatures above average for quite some time, so I think that's why it was kind of a little shock to the system with it being so hot out there for this afternoon. And this is going to be the trend over the next several days. 92 is our average high for this time of year. The low this morning, 69. So we actually got below 70, but I think for tonight we should stay into the 70s. 79 is the number right now at the Little Rock Airport. The dew point 76, and that's why it's just so soupy out there right now. The relative humidity 90%, and just a very light breeze from the south at 5 miles per hour. Temperatures across the rest of the natural state upper 70s to lower 80s. It's 84 in Hot Springs, 77 in Clinton, 77 in West Memphis, and 82 in Monticello. And as we take a look at the dew points out there, into the mid to upper 70s, and that is almost like walking through the rainforest. So as we take you through day by day here on the real field, because temperatures will be into the low to mid 90s with all that humidity, the real fields or heat indices will be in the dangerous category for Sunday, also into Monday, just below heat advisory criteria, but it sees a little bit of a dip as we head to Wednesday and Thursday, and that's because we'll see more clouds and also a better chance of some showers and storms. Lows for tonight, though, only dropping down to the low to mid 70s, and then we're back up into the low to mid 90s for our Sunday. So it is going to be a toasty Sunday all throughout Arkansas. Satellite radar showing nothing, mostly clear skies in place. There were some showers well to the north of us, but here is the weather story. This ridge of high pressure, this is an area of sinking air, and it also acts like a wall. So all these showers and storms in New Mexico and Texas have to go up and over the ridge. That will send them into Missouri and Illinois. For us, we stay dry. Slim chance there might be a stray shower popping up for tomorrow, but summer is in no rush to leave. Our next chance of showers and storms will be arriving for Wednesday and also into Thursday. 72 for tonight, moonlit skies and mosquitoes. That's what I'm calling for. 94 for the high on your Sunday. Plenty of sun. Here's your extended forecast. Temperatures staying into the low to mid 90s with that 40% chance of scattered showers and storms on Wednesday and Thursday. David?
Parts of Hawaii have been swamped in recent days by nearly 4 feet of rain. As Maria Villarreal shows us, in many places it's still pouring as Tropical Storm Lane slowly moves away from the islands.
Hawaii's Big Island bore the brunt of the storm's wrath. After more than 3 days of rain, they've recorded almost 4 feet of water. In one Hilo neighborhood, rivers overflowed, sending rushing water down the streets.
It's just the volume of water, it couldn't hold it already. I've never seen that before, and then the small bridge plugged up above, and that's what flooded all of these houses.
Strong wind shear tore through Lane Friday night, downgrading it to a tropical storm.
We dodged a bullet. Doesn't mean it's over. We're going to have rain and wind and local flooding, and we need to be vigilant.
So I just put everything in plastic bags so it wouldn't get wet.
Businesses in Maui prepared for the worst as Hurricane Lane peaked at a Category 5 before making landfall.
Were you taking Hurricane Lane seriously?
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. I've seen a lot of storms here, but the way the path showed, yeah, I knew it was going to be something big.
As many as 17,000 residents across the Hawaiian Islands lost power during the storm. Some of it was knocked out when high winds fanned fires in Maui and Oahu.
I would just like to emphasize that there still is the potential for flash flooding and rain damage.
Beaches and parks in Oahu and Maui are reopening, but Tropical Storm Lane isn't expected to clear out for the next few days. And the islands, they are expecting more rain and high surf, and that could bring the potential for mudslide as well as more flooding, especially on the Big Island where the ground is already saturated with so much rain. Mireya Villarreal, CBS News, Maui, Hawaii.
There is anger in Ireland as Pope Francis arrives in that country amid a worldwide sexual abuse crisis in the Catholic Church. Pope Francis today became the first pope to visit Ireland in nearly 40 years. Francis said he feels the same pain, shame, and outrage as many people feel caused by the church's sex abuse cover-ups. Jonathan Vigliotti is with the Pope in Ireland.
Pope Francis addressed sex abuse directly in his first speech inside Dublin Castle, saying the church must remove the scourge at whatever moral cost. The failure of the ecclesial authorities, bishops, religious superiors, priests, and others to adequately address these repugnant crimes has rightly given rise to outrage, he said. They were familiar words, some first penned by the Pope in his letter to all Catholics earlier this week. Ireland's Prime Minister, who hosted the Pope, said they weren't enough.
As you've said, there can only be zero tolerance for those who abuse children or facilitate that abuse. And we must now ensure that from words flow actions.
Today's noticeably small crowds, another strong message. When Pope John Paul II visited in 1979, he was greeted by more than 2.5 million faithful.
Young people of Ireland, I love you.
I believed him, and it really meant something to me.
And a year and a half later, I was raped by a priest for the first time.
Colm O'Gorman says he was abused when he was 14 years old.
They have no moral authority because at the highest level of the institution, they colluded with, they facilitated, and they covered up those crimes. And they allowed them to go unchecked.
And this evening, the Pope met privately with several victims of church abuse. Tomorrow, he will say Mass before a crowd of about 500,000 people. Hundreds more are expected to protest. Jonathan Vigliotti, CBS News, Dublin.
Well, the Salt Bowl should be one of the year's biggest celebrations. Instead, it was a giant scare tonight. We'll head back to War Memorial next. A huge crowd and great football game overwhelmed by the fear of gunfire at War Memorial Stadium. Dorian and Michael are back with us again live from the stadium for the latest from the Salt Bowl.
Hey, David, and you're right. You know, the fear of gunshots really overshadowed what was turning out to be a fantastic Salt Bowl, not just the game itself, but the atmosphere. Michael and I were out here before with the tailgaters. Everyone was really excited. This was a record crowd. They raised a record number of peanut butter. All in all, it was a great night until this happened.
We're talking about 38,000 people here tonight, and we heard from Shane Broadway. He's on the committee for the Salt Bowl. He said really everyone, all of the kids here lost tonight. You know, Bryant was up, but this was a loss for all the kids, something that we certainly haven't seen in the history of the Salt Bowl and really here at War Memorial Stadium to our knowledge, Dorian. Just a very terrifying situation as we see people running from the stadium, running from the stands onto the field, and some people even injured as a result of that. Thankfully, no gunshots fired here tonight, according to LRPD, but the game was canceled, as we know.
Right. The game was canceled right now. We still don't have any additional information about when or even if they will replay the Salt Bowl. And as you can see, the game was exciting. As you can see behind us, the Arkansas Park Rangers, thank you, Michael. They are currently sweeping the stands just to ensure that this is a safe location, that nothing else is going on. But, you know, people here, not only was there an initial stampede when they first heard that there might be gunshots, but then there was a second wave. People just really not a lack of communication, but so much going on. And it was so loud that the people couldn't even make an announcement.
And we know that there's a scene still unfolding outside, people trying to reunite with their families.
Right, and people didn't know if it was unsafe to leave, to stay. They didn't know where to go. A lot of people just ducking along the sidelines for cover, you know, trying to call out, but the phone lines were jammed. It's a very scary situation.
And, you know, I just spoke with a former Benton football player who graduated about 5 years ago or so. He injured his wrist a little bit as he tried to jump a fence. Just speaks to the chaos involved in this situation. So, again, an investigation ongoing. We do know that several people were injured. We're going to work to learn how many people, how severe their injuries are, and we're going to keep you updated on THV11.com and in our newscast tomorrow at 5:30 and 10 p.m. But just an unfortunate scene here tonight, and again, one that we'll stay on top of.
Unfortunate scene, unfortunate situation. Most important thing, nobody was hurt, no gunshots, everyone is safe. So THV 11 News will be back after the break.
So Nathan, more of the same coming for us?
I know you're thinking about fall because we're getting closer and closer to September. Well, get that out of your head because as we take a look at the last week of August, it's going to be toasty. Temperatures low to mid 90s. Rain chances go up for Wednesday and Thursday. 40% chance of scattered showers and storms.
All right. Thank you much, Nathan. Thank you much for joining us tonight. We'll be back at 5:30 tomorrow evening. Hope you have a good rest of your night.